The only horror known to man is mankind itself. I will prove this in less than 3 minutes. This is the New Mexico prison riot of 1980, where at least 33 prisoners were killed. It was horrific, not like some movie, because this was real. Men were brutally tortured and suffered fates that are the images of nightmares. Screams of agony and mercy were ignored as convicts were judge, jury, and executioners of these men. Some accounts claim the exact number of victims isn't truly known, as there were body parts laid everywhere. The violence was so exponential that over 200 people were also injured during the riot. The inmates were able to break into the prison medical building where pharmaceuticals were stored. This created a free-for-all in drug distribution during the riot, and some inmates overdosed. The victims mostly consisted of prisoners who were in special needs blocks for informants or sex offenders. The level of horror inflicted on these men is beyond words. The chaos was so deeply rooted that to this very day, the majority of the victims' murderers remain unknown. Some people claim that this was justice sorting itself out, and others blame the corrections department and its poor training and organizational skills. No matter where you stand on your opinions on who is responsible, it doesn't bring any solitude to the families of the victims, many of which had release dates. The fabric of time was torn during this barbaric event, and many stories that could and even should have been good or evil are now lost forever as the destinies of everyone involved were altered. This is the Attica prison riot of 1971, where 43 people were slain, including 10 correctional officers. The massacre wasn't the same as New Mexico, as the majority of the fatalities were committed by law enforcement. Only 3 inmates and 1 officer was slain by actual inmates. The rest, including inmates and guards, were all killed by what most would call a Wild West shootout, with bullets flying everywhere. This was either a poorly executed plan by law enforcement or a malicious massacre meant to eliminate anyone who had the audacity with demands. Some witnesses, including forensic evidence and testimony, state that some of the inmates were executed after the prison was reclaimed by law enforcement. One of the ringleaders was reported as being shot in the back with his hands up in surrender, and some witnesses state that they heard law enforcement moving through the chaos calling out his name. They were hunting him. The shooting left 9 correctional officers dead, all by friendly fire. The desire to take revenge ultimately led to their deaths. This plan to retake the prison falls directly on all leadership involved. No matter how you feel about who's to blame, it doesn't give the lives back that were lost recklessly. The innocent officers' families don't get back their loved ones. As you can see, man is his own worst enemy.